Everybody, welcome to this Unicorn.studio tutorial. For this one, I thought we would do a more complex scroll animation to really show off some of the more interesting things you can do. We're going to recreate this example here from this topology.vc website, which you might have seen. It was made by Unseen, very talented bunch of people. We're going to use a totally different approach though. So this is a 3D, actual 3D model here. You can see probably because we have our simulated lighting and the way that it moves here, you can really tell that we're using some camera angles and other vertices and stuff. So we don't actually have access to all that in Unicorn, but we can do our best to simulate something that looks similar. Otherwise we have some noise distortion going on. We have this little mouse trail thing going on, and we have some chromatic aberration. That is all stuff that we do have access to. The technique is interesting too. We're going to use a texture actually to simulate these 3D circles here. But you could also imagine other things that unlocks too, that can help you play and be creative and explore. So yeah, let's just jump into it. I've already made the texture that we're going to use. I'll pull it up here. It is basically just a bunch of gradient bars. These are going to be the rings in the tunnel. And I have some blank space over here. So this is the initial view where we're all the way zoomed out and we have some gray. I'm putting that there because ultimately we're going to end up on a dark background. So the actual background in Unicorn.studio is going to be dark, and we have this white space here to be the background at the initial position. So I've already exported this and I've uploaded it. Let's go in here and check it out. So we're going to want this to be 100% of the height. So I'll make this relative. And for width, I think we're going to play with it. I've actually, in preparation, I've done versions where we do this on scroll to play with the perspective, but for this one, we'll just see how we do without doing that. Maybe we'll do like 130 here. And the main effect that makes this work is the polar distortion effect. And you can see it here that you can blend the seam here, but we actually don't want the seam to blend because we've got that, fake light baked into the texture. And if I just, move it like this, we kind of get the idea of what we're going to do. The scroll will move the X position as we move down. And basically, other than that, we're just going to add some of those other effects on it, some noise, the mouse trail, the chromatic aberration. So first, I think we should figure out where we want to start. Maybe minus 10% X. Sure, that looks good. And let's see what the finish will be. Looks like we're done at about 120. All right, so I'm going to center it. I'm going to go to minus 10. And add my scroll, choosing X position, end value. Sorry, that's an appear effect. Let's do scroll. There we go. All right, X position, end value. I said 120. And we're going to move the start position at 0. So that means that the animation is going to start when I start scrolling. The default would be there's no progress in the animation when start is 0. You can actually see in this little chart up here that, and when I move it, you can see it go there. So end position, I'm not really sure. Let's just do 100%. That's a full viewport. But, we already right away kind of see, we can imagine how this is going to work. All right. So I'm going to lock this so we don't mess with it, the image. And I'm going to lock the scroll too, which is going to make everything kind of easier to test and to see. All right, yeah, so let's see. What do we want to do next? I've played with using lens for the chromatic aberration. You can also do a radial version with the actual chromatic aberration effect itself with a tilt shift. I actually like how the lens looks better because it gets more of the red. When the colors blend over white, we lose the green. We lose kind of seeing all the different colors unless it's a really large spread. But maybe this will still work if we add some noise first. Because if you remember on the scene itself, it's on a perfect circle. It's a little bit wonky. So we want some of that wonkiness too. Not a lot. It's pretty subtle. This might even be too much. Let's try that. And maybe now that we've added that, we can get a little bit more variance in our chromatic aberration, the radial one. Yeah. And then we do our tilt shift, so we only do the edges. I'm going to lower that down. All right, and also we're not going to start this right away. As you can see in this thing, initially there's just a little bit on the edges, and as we move into the tunnel, it sort of ramps up the aberration. So maybe we'll do the same thing. We're just going to, we can start with spread at, I think what we have right now is what? Oh, it's 0. All right, so, we'll make it go to, let's just try 100. And we'll do the same start position, end position as the other one. And yeah, there you can see it. Maybe we want it to be even more. Let's try 125. And let's start with, let's start with 10. I'll lock the scroll again. Okay, well, what we're also going to do is we want it to be have more of a 3D feeling. You can see like the edges, we have a lot of distortion. I've played with the lens effect and projection to kind of get that dialed in a little bit better. I like how projection looks, because I think we can really make it warp out and get that scale that really makes it feel more 3D. So let's see how that goes. I need to redo that. Okay, so that, it zooms it a lot. We need to make sure that we adjust the size of the scale here. No repeat. All right, so let's make this a little smaller. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, that's pretty good. And we should probably add a little bit of mouse tracking here, because as you can see over here, we can sort of wobble the edges. It's really not a lot, but maybe it's just like, it's even less than that, like 3. Maybe 3 is all you need. Yeah, so we just want a little bit of wobble. All right. This is looking pretty good. This is, probably the cleanest that I've made it. I think what else would be cool is if we modulated the noise as you scrolled too. That would kind of like morph the distortion as you're moving through the tunnel, which kind of sounds cool. So we were at 4. I don't know, let's try moving it to like 30. It's totally arbitrary. We're just going to see. Yeah, okay. So you see the distortion kind of changes as we move through. I mean, should we make it even more? Yeah, that's nice. Let's really go for it. Yeah, look at that. That's cool. Kind of feels like the shape of the tunnel is changing as we're moving through it, which I like a lot. The other question is, should we put the chromatic aberration under the noise? I think that I said no initially, but yeah, you know what? I think that's better. It's probably more realistic, more accurate to the scene itself. Yeah. All right. So let's keep going. We have some text. We'll just say, you know, scroll tunnel. Good old enter. Bottom left anchor. So we want that to stay down here as the screen gets bigger. Make that a little smaller. Oh, let's just do this. You've seen enough enter. And yeah, for fun, why don't we add the scroll effect that makes this disappear? So again, we want the start. We can make it kind of disappear right away. If we just do 10%, 10% of the viewport. Oh, right, end value 0. There we go. Okay, so even that's pretty slow. Maybe we want the end position to be 5. Yeah, all right, that looks good. I think that's kind of what we have here, right? It's there, and then you just scroll it away. It's there, and then you scroll it away. All right, and then the last thing was this little distortion mouse thing. I think we'll just use the light trail. It's pretty straightforward. It's white. We'll fully mix that over to white. Small mouse trail. And there's a little distortion in there. Maybe not a ton, just a little bit. I think that's underneath the mouse, the text. All right, let's preview this thing. Publish that with 120 because we got our cool mouse. Oh, right, we have no scroll here. We can fake the scroll in our test view here. Use fixed. Yep. So you could just put this as a fixed scene on your website. You make it underneath your actual content. You know, I'd probably put the text itself here with your on your site itself, but you don't have to. And then you can fade in your other things. When you get here, you have the rest of your site. And then, you know, what I would probably do is when you get to this point, if you have some scroll triggers or something, just move this canvas off screen so that we're not still rendering it. The canvas itself needs to be out of the viewport for it to be paused. And that's the easiest way to do it. You can just do it with CSS or whatever. But yeah, this looks pretty good. I think we did it. Thanks so much for watching.